Building a reliable emergency food supply is one of the smartest decisions you can make for yourself and your family. Whether you are bracing for natural disasters, economic downturns, or unexpected disruptions, having the right food stored away gives you peace of mind. Most people think about basics like rice and beans, but there is a whole world of specialized shelf-stable foods that most preppers overlook entirely. What you are about to read covers some of the most powerful, nutrient-dense, and durable foods available today. These are not just survival rations, they are strategic choices that can genuinely support a healthy, balanced diet for years, even decades. The best part? Many of them are lightweight, compact, and incredibly versatile in the kitchen. Some products covered here might surprise you. Others you may have heard of but never fully understood their potential. We will walk through each one in detail, explaining why it belongs in your storage plan, how it works nutritionally, and how to store it correctly for maximum longevity. This is not about hoarding or fear. This is about being prepared, staying nourished, and maintaining your quality of life no matter what circumstances arise. Let us dive in. 1. Egg powder. When most people think about protein-rich emergency food, canned tuna or beans probably come to mind first. Egg powder rarely makes the list, and that is a significant mistake. This ingredient is one of the most nutritionally complete foods you can store for the long term. Eggs in their fresh form are fragile and perishable. They require refrigeration and typically last only a few weeks. Egg powder eliminates both of those problems entirely. Through a careful dehydration process, fresh eggs are transformed into a fine shelf-stable powder that retains the core nutritional value of the original product. When stored correctly, egg powder can remain safe and usable for over 30 years. The protein content alone makes egg powder worth every bit of storage space it occupies. Protein supports muscle repair, immune function, hormone production, and dozens of other biological processes. In an emergency situation where your physical activity may increase significantly, think hauling supplies, clearing debris, or walking long distances, protein becomes even more critical. Egg powder delivers that protein in a concentrated, lightweight form. From a culinary standpoint, egg powder is remarkably flexible. It can be reconstituted with water and used just like fresh eggs in scrambled preparations, omelets, and baked goods. It blends seamlessly into pancake batters, bread doughs, and pasta recipes. You can even use it as a protein booster in soups or casseroles without significantly altering the flavor profile. The key to getting the most out of egg powder is proper storage. Keep it sealed in airtight containers, ideally with an oxygen absorber inside. Store it in a consistently cool, dry location away from direct sunlight. Avoid locations that experience temperature swings, such as garages or attics. A basement or interior pantry shelf is ideal. One practical advantage that often goes unmentioned is the lack of refrigeration requirement. In a power outage scenario, which frequently accompanies natural disasters, fresh eggs become a problem very quickly. Egg powder simply sits on your shelf, unaffected, ready to use whenever you need it. That kind of reliability is invaluable when systems around you are failing. Beyond emergencies, egg powder is also a smart pantry staple for everyday life. Bakers use it to simplify recipes, hikers carry it as a lightweight trail food, athletes add it to shakes for extra protein. Its usefulness extends far beyond disaster preparedness, making it a genuinely worthwhile investment for any household. 2. Powdered milk. Dairy nutrition is something many people take for granted. Fresh milk is available at virtually every grocery store, delivered regularly and consumed daily by millions of families. But that availability is far more fragile than it appears. Supply chain disruptions, refrigeration failures, and distribution breakdowns can cut off access to fresh dairy almost instantly. Powdered milk fills that gap with impressive effectiveness. The production process removes virtually all moisture from liquid milk, which prevents bacterial growth and dramatically extends the product's usable life. When stored in cool, dry, airtight conditions, powdered milk can remain viable for years, sometimes more than a decade, depending on the variety and storage quality. Nutritionally, powdered milk holds up remarkably well against its fresh counterpart. It contains calcium for bone health, vitamin D for immune support and calcium absorption, and protein for tissue repair and energy. For growing children, elderly individuals, or anyone with elevated nutritional needs, these nutrients are not optional, they are essential. Having a reliable source of them in an emergency is genuinely life-changing. The culinary applications of powdered milk are broader than most people realize. It works in baking. Breads, muffins, cookies, and cakes all use milk as a base ingredient. It can be mixed into oatmeal soup, sauces, and hot beverages. Reconstituted with water, it can replace fresh milk in most recipes with minimal impact on flavor or texture. For families with young children, powdered milk takes on added importance. Children have higher calcium and protein requirements relative to body weight, and ensuring they receive adequate nutrition during a crisis demands reliable dairy sources. Powdered milk is one of the few shelf-stable options that genuinely meets this need. Storage best practices follow a familiar pattern: airtight containers, oxygen absorbers, a cool and dry environment. Avoid humidity at all costs, as moisture is the primary enemy of powdered milk's longevity. Once opened, transfer contents to a sealed container and use within a reasonable time frame. Unopened, properly stored packages can last for years with no significant nutritional degradation. If you are finding this helpful, please take a second to like, comment, and subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel grow. 3. Dry whey protein. While powdered milk covers general dairy nutrition, dry whey protein takes the protein element to an entirely different level. This is one of the most concentrated, high-quality protein sources available in a shelf-stable form, and its value in an emergency food strategy is difficult to overstate. Whey is a natural byproduct of cheese production. Through filtration and dehydration, the protein components are isolated, concentrated, and dried into a fine powder. This process removes excess fat and carbohydrates, leaving behind a product that is almost entirely protein by weight. The result is an extraordinarily efficient nutritional tool. What makes whey protein particularly valuable is its amino acid profile. It contains all 9 essential amino acids, the ones your body cannot produce on its own and must obtain through food. These amino acids support everything from muscle synthesis to immune system function to neurotransmitter production. In a stressful emergency situation, your body's demand for these compounds increases, making a complete protein source even more important. Dry whey protein integrates easily into a variety of preparations. Shake it with water for a quick protein boost, stir it into oatmeal or yogurt. Add it to baked goods for nutritional fortification. The powder dissolves readily and has a mild flavor that does not overwhelm other ingredients, making it one of the most versatile additions to your emergency pantry. From a storage standpoint, dry whey protein performs excellently. Keep it sealed, dry, and away from heat, and it can remain viable for a significant period, often several years. Pairing it with oxygen absorbers in airtight containers extends that time frame further. Given how nutritionally dense it is, even a relatively small supply of whey protein can support your protein needs for a long time. 4. Dry soup mixes. There is something deeply comforting about a warm bowl of soup, and that comfort does not disappear just because you are in the middle of an emergency. Dry soup mixes, everything from hearty vegetable blends to classic chicken noodle varieties, offer both nutritional value and the kind of psychological comfort that is often underestimated in crisis situations. Morale matters during emergencies. When everything around you feels unstable and stressful, eating something familiar and satisfying can significantly impact your mental and emotional resilience. Dry soup mixes provide that reassurance in a convenient shelf-stable format. The act of preparing and eating a real meal, even a simple one, restores a sense of normalcy when very little else does. From a nutritional standpoint, dry soups vary considerably depending on their composition. The best options include a balance of complex carbohydrates, vegetables, legumes, and sometimes protein components like dried chicken or beans. These combinations provide sustained energy, fiber for digestive health, and a range of vitamins and minerals that your body needs regardless of the circumstances. The dehydration process that creates powdered soup mixes removes moisture effectively, preventing the bacterial activity that causes spoilage. When sealed properly and kept in appropriate conditions, these mixes can last for years without losing their flavor or nutritional quality. The compact packaging means a large volume of meals can be stored in a relatively small space, which is a critical advantage when storage space is limited. However, quality matters significantly with this category. Read ingredient labels carefully. Some commercial dry soup mixes are loaded with sodium, artificial flavoring, and preservatives while offering minimal actual nutrition. Look for options with recognizable ingredients, lower sodium content, and genuine vegetable and protein components. The extra time spent evaluating labels is worth it. Preparation is refreshingly simple. Add hot water, wait a few minutes, and you have a complete meal. This simplicity is valuable in situations where fuel, time, or energy for cooking may be limited. A warm, satisfying meal with minimal effort is a genuine luxury in a crisis. Powdered cheese is one of those foods that people assume cannot be preserved long-term without refrigeration. Powdered cheese challenges that assumption entirely. Through a careful dehydration process, cheese is transformed into a fine powder that retains its characteristic flavor and nutritional value without any need for cold storage. The flavor impact of powdered cheese on a dish is significant. In a situation where food variety may be limited, having something that can genuinely transform a plain bowl of pasta, a simple soup, or a basic rice dish into something satisfying and flavorful is worth far more than its weight. Flavor variety directly impacts food morale, and food morale affects how well people function under stress. Nutritionally, powdered cheese retains meaningful amounts of calcium and protein, 2 nutrients found in traditional dairy products. While the texture differs from fresh cheese, the taste is authentic enough to satisfy cravings and enhance the palatability of otherwise bland emergency staples. That palatability matters more than people expect when food options are limited. The versatility of powdered cheese in cooking is extensive. It blends into pasta sauces, thickens soups, enriches casseroles, and adds depth to homemade spice blends. You can even dust it over popcorn or crackers for a satisfying snack. The concentrated nature of the powder means a small amount delivers a substantial flavor impact, making your supply stretch further. Storage requirements are straightforward: cool, dry, airtight, away from light and moisture. When these conditions are met, powdered cheese has a shelf life of several years, sometimes longer depending on the specific product and packaging. Vacuum-sealed cans offer the longest preservation, while resealable pouches work well for products you plan to use more regularly. Enjoying this content? A quick like and subscribe helps more people find this information. 6. Powdered peanut butter. Traditional peanut butter is already a solid emergency food choice. It is calorie-dense, protein-rich, and does not require refrigeration once opened. But its powdered counterpart takes those advantages even further, adding longer shelf life, reduced fat content, and dramatically reduced bulk and weight to the equation. The production of powdered peanut butter involves pressing whole peanuts to extract the majority of their natural oils, then dehydrating the remaining solids into a fine powder. This process removes a significant portion of the fat content while preserving the protein, fiber, and characteristic nutty flavor. The resulting powder is a nutritionally concentrated ingredient that delivers substantial value in a compact format. In terms of shelf life, powdered peanut butter outperforms its traditional counterparts significantly. When kept in cool, dry conditions protected from sunlight and humidity, it can remain usable for decades. This durability makes it one of the more reliable long-term protein sources available in dehydrated form, particularly for those building supplies intended to last many years. The protein content in powdered peanut butter is noteworthy. Protein deficiency is a genuine risk in extended emergency situations where access to meat, eggs, and dairy may be limited. Foods like powdered peanut butter help bridge that gap, providing essential amino acids and sustained energy from healthy fats and complex compounds. Culinary applications are diverse. Reconstituted with water, the powder becomes a spreadable butter that works on crackers, flatbreads, and tortillas. It can be stirred into oatmeal, blended into smoothies, or used as a base for protein shakes. In baking, it adds flavor and nutrition to cookies, energy bars, and muffins without the heaviness of traditional peanut butter. The powder form also makes it easier to measure and mix into recipes precisely. For those managing dietary fat intake, powdered peanut butter offers a lower fat alternative to regular peanut butter without sacrificing the protein and flavor benefits. This makes it appealing not just for emergency preparedness, but also for everyday health-conscious cooking and meal planning. 7. Powdered fruits. Fresh fruit is a nutritional luxury. It provides vitamins, antioxidants, natural sugars for quick energy, and dietary fiber for digestive health. It is also highly perishable, seasonally limited, and impractical to store in meaningful quantities for more than a few days. Powdered fruits solve every one of those problems simultaneously. The process of creating fruit powders begins with whole, ripe fruits that are dehydrated until virtually all their moisture is removed. The resulting powder retains the core nutritional compounds, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and natural flavor in a highly concentrated form. A small amount of fruit powder can deliver the nutritional equivalent of a significantly larger volume of fresh fruit. Strawberry powder, banana powder, blueberry powder, mango powder, and raspberry powder are among the most commonly available options. Each brings its own nutritional profile and flavor characteristics. Blueberry powder, for instance, is rich in antioxidants that support cardiovascular and cognitive health. Banana powder provides potassium, which is essential for heart function and muscle performance. Strawberry powder delivers vitamin C, an immune system cornerstone. In terms of culinary use, powdered fruits are incredibly flexible. Add them to oatmeal for natural sweetness and flavor. Blend them into smoothies or protein shakes. Mix them into baked goods for color, flavor, and nutrition. Stir them into yogurt or reconstituted powdered milk. Even mixing a spoonful into plain water creates a flavored drink that breaks the monotony of plain hydration during difficult times. Shelf life is one of powdered fruit's strongest selling points. When stored correctly in airtight containers away from moisture, heat, and light, fruit powders can last for years. The complete removal of moisture prevents the microbial activity and oxidation that normally cause fresh fruit to degrade within days. This stability makes them a smart addition to any long-term food supply. One important consideration when purchasing powdered fruits is ingredient purity. Some commercial products contain added sugars, artificial flavors, or fillers that reduce their nutritional value and health benefits. Choose products made from 100% fruit with no additives. The label should list a single ingredient, the fruit itself. This ensures you are getting the full nutritional benefit without unnecessary additives. If this is helping your emergency preparedness planning, hit that like button and subscribe. More content like this is coming regularly. 8. Powdered vegetables. Vegetables are the foundation of a genuinely healthy diet. They provide vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and dietary fiber that virtually no other food category can replicate. The challenge is that fresh vegetables are among the most perishable foods in existence. Without access to a functioning supply chain, fresh produce disappears within days. Powdered vegetables bridge this gap with remarkable effectiveness. Carrots, peas, bell peppers, spinach, tomatoes, kale, broccoli, onion, and garlic are all available in powdered form. Each undergoes a dehydration process that removes moisture while preserving the core nutritional content. The result is a concentrated powder that can be added to dishes throughout cooking, infusing them with flavor and nutrition simultaneously. The nutritional retention in powdered vegetables is impressive, though not absolute. Some heat-sensitive vitamins, particularly vitamin C, experience partial reduction during processing. However, the majority of minerals, dietary fiber, and antioxidants remain intact. In an emergency situation where fresh vegetables are unavailable, powdered vegetables represent the closest practical equivalent you can realistically store long-term. From a cooking standpoint, powdered vegetables work exceptionally well in soups, sauces, and casseroles. Tomato powder transforms into a rich sauce with the addition of water and seasoning. Spinach powder can be stirred into pasta dough or mixed into scrambled eggs. Onion and garlic powder are staple flavor bases for virtually every savory dish imaginable. Carrot powder adds color, sweetness, and beta-carotene to soups and baked goods. The concentrated nature of vegetable powders means a relatively small amount delivers meaningful nutritional impact. A single teaspoon of spinach powder, for example, can contain the nutritional equivalent of a larger volume of fresh spinach leaves. This concentration makes powdered vegetables extraordinarily efficient in terms of storage space and weight, critical factors when building an emergency food supply. Quality selection matters with this category, just as it does with powdered fruits. Look for organic options produced without pesticide residues. Avoid products with added salt, preservatives, or artificial ingredients. Single-ingredient powders from reputable suppliers offer the most straightforward nutritional value. Non-GMO certifications provide additional assurance about the source and processing of the vegetables. Storage follows the same principles as other dehydrated products: cool temperatures, low humidity, airtight containers, and protection from light. Under these conditions, vegetable powders can retain their quality and nutritional value for years. Investing in quality oxygen absorbers for your storage containers will further extend their usable life. 9. Freeze-dried meat is one of the hardest nutritional categories to address in long-term food storage. Fresh meat is highly perishable. Canned meat has a moderate shelf life but adds considerable weight and bulk to your supplies. Freeze-dried meat solves both problems with a preservation method that is significantly more effective than traditional dehydration. Freeze-drying works by rapidly freezing the meat and then removing the ice through sublimation, a process that converts ice directly to vapor without passing through a liquid phase. This technique preserves the cellular structure of the meat far better than heat-based drying methods, resulting in a product that rehydrates with remarkable fidelity to the original texture and flavor. Beef, chicken, turkey, and pork are all available in freeze-dried form. The resulting products retain a very high percentage of their original protein content, B vitamins, iron, and zinc, nutrients that are critical for energy metabolism, immune function, and blood health. In an extended emergency, these nutrients can become difficult to obtain without a reliable meat source. Shelf life for properly stored freeze-dried meat is exceptional, often exceeding 25 years when kept in factory-sealed cans under appropriate conditions. This longevity far surpasses canned meat options and makes freeze-dried meat one of the most practical long-term protein sources available. The lightweight nature of the dried product also makes it far easier to store and transport than canned alternatives. Preparation is straightforward. Add hot water, wait a few minutes, and the meat rehydrates to a texture that closely resembles freshly cooked protein. It can then be incorporated into soups, stews, rice dishes, pasta, or eaten on its own. The flavor, while slightly different from fresh meat, is recognizable and satisfying, a significant advantage for maintaining food morale in difficult circumstances. Quick reminder, if you are building your emergency food storage plan and finding this valuable, please like, comment your questions below, and subscribe for more. 10. Honey may be the single food on this list with the most extraordinary shelf life. Archaeological excavations of ancient Egyptian tombs have uncovered honey that remained edible after thousands of years. Under the right conditions, honey essentially does not expire. This is not marketing, it is chemistry. The reasons for honey's incredible stability are multiple and well understood. Its extremely low moisture content creates an environment where bacteria and mold cannot survive. Its high sugar concentration creates osmotic pressure that destroys microbial cells on contact. It is also naturally acidic with a pH that inhibits bacterial growth. Finally, bees introduce an enzyme that produces small amounts of hydrogen peroxide during the production process, adding yet another antimicrobial layer. From a nutritional standpoint, honey provides readily available energy in the form of simple sugars, glucose and fructose. These are quickly absorbed by the body and provide fast fuel during physically demanding situations. Raw, unprocessed honey also contains trace amounts of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that refined sugar completely lacks. Beyond nutrition, honey has practical applications in emergency situations that extend beyond food. Its antimicrobial properties make it useful as a topical wound treatment when medical supplies are unavailable. It soothes sore throats and irritated airways. It can be used as a natural preservative for other foods. Its versatility across both culinary and practical applications makes it uniquely valuable in a comprehensive preparedness plan. Honey also serves as an important morale item. Sweetness is psychologically comforting, and having access to a natural sweetener for tea, oatmeal, baked goods, or direct consumption can meaningfully improve the emotional experience of eating during a stressful period. Small psychological wins matter enormously in extended crisis situations. Storage requirements are minimal. Keep it sealed in a clean, dry container at room temperature. Avoid exposure to moisture, which can dilute it and reduce its antimicrobial effectiveness. If honey crystallizes over time, which is completely natural and does not indicate spoilage, gentle warming restores it to liquid form without any impact on quality. 11. White rice. White rice deserves explicit inclusion in any serious long-term food storage discussion, not because it is exciting, but because it is foundational. Few foods match its combination of caloric density, shelf life, affordability, and culinary versatility. When stored correctly, white rice can last for 25 to 30 years without significant quality loss. Unlike brown rice, which retains its natural oil-rich bran layer, white rice has had those outer layers removed through milling. While this reduces its fiber and some micronutrient content, it dramatically increases its stability. The oils in brown rice go rancid relatively quickly, limiting its shelf life to a year or two. White rice stripped of those oils stores almost indefinitely under proper conditions. Calorically, white rice is highly efficient. A single cup of dry rice yields multiple servings when cooked, providing substantial energy from complex carbohydrates. In an emergency where caloric availability may be limited, having a reliable high-calorie staple is essential for maintaining physical and cognitive function. Rice provides that stability better than almost any other food. The versatility of white rice in cooking is virtually limitless. It serves as a base for stews, a complement to proteins, a filler for soups, a foundation for grain bowls, and a standalone dish with minimal seasoning. Pair it with powdered vegetables, dried meats, or canned legumes, and you can create genuinely complete, satisfying meals from your storage supplies. For optimal longevity, store white rice in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers to eliminate the oxygen that supports insect activity and oxidation. Mylar bags inside food-grade buckets are the preferred storage method among experienced preppers. Keep containers in a consistently cool location. Check periodically for any signs of moisture intrusion, which is the primary threat to long-term rice storage. 12. Salt and essential seasonings. No long-term food storage plan is complete without adequate attention to flavor. This might sound trivial compared to nutrition and caloric sufficiency, but it is far more important than most beginners realize. Eating nutritionally adequate but completely flavorless food for weeks or months has a measurable psychological impact. People become demoralized, eat less than they should, and experience significant declines in both physical and mental well-being. Salt is the single most important seasoning to store in quantity. Beyond flavor, it plays critical roles in human physiology, maintaining fluid balance, supporting nerve function, and enabling muscle contractions. In situations involving heavy physical activity or heat exposure, salt loss through sweat accelerates, and adequate intake becomes even more critical. Salt also has preservation applications that extend beyond its use as a seasoning. It can be used to cure meats, preserve vegetables through lactofermentation, and extend the usable life of various foods when other preservation methods are unavailable. This functional versatility makes storing a generous supply of salt genuinely practical. Beyond salt, other shelf-stable seasonings add enormous value to an emergency pantry. Black pepper, cumin, paprika, oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, chili flakes, and dried herbs like thyme and rosemary all have long shelf lives when kept dry and sealed. These seasonings allow you to create diverse flavor profiles from the same base ingredients, preventing the monotony that makes long-term emergency eating psychologically difficult. Spice variety also enables cooking adaptation. The same pot of beans and rice can taste like an Indian dal, a Mexican stew, or a Mediterranean side dish depending on the spices applied. This kind of culinary flexibility is not a luxury in extended emergencies, it is a practical tool for maintaining the will to eat adequately and sustain good nutrition. Storage requirements for salt and dried seasonings are simple: sealed containers away from moisture. Salt itself is essentially infinitely shelf-stable. Dried spices and herbs gradually lose their potency over time but remain safe to consume and retain some flavor for several years. Replacing your spice supply every 3 to 5 years ensures you always have flavorful, effective seasonings available. Thank you for reading this far. If you got value from this, please like, leave a comment with your questions, and subscribe. Your support keeps this content going. Final thoughts: building a comprehensive food storage strategy. Looking across everything covered in this guide, a clear picture emerges of what a genuinely effective long-term food storage plan looks like. It is not just about stockpiling calories, it is about ensuring nutritional completeness, flavor variety, psychological comfort, and practical versatility across a wide range of potential scenarios. The products discussed here: egg powder, powdered milk, dry whey protein, dry soup mixes, powdered cheese, powdered peanut butter, powdered fruits, powdered vegetables, freeze-dried meats, honey, white rice, and salt and seasonings collectively address every major nutritional category. Protein is covered by egg powder, whey, peanut butter, freeze-dried meat, and powdered cheese. Carbohydrates come from rice, fruit powders, and dry soup. Fats are provided by peanut butter and cheese powders. Micronutrients arrive through vegetable and fruit powders, powdered milk, and honey. This comprehensive approach is what separates a thoughtful emergency food supply from a pile of randomly accumulated cans. Think about nutritional balance as you build your storage. Consider caloric density, preparation requirements, and the fuel or water needed to cook each item. Think about variety, not just nutritional variety, but flavor variety, texture variety, and meal variety. Proper storage practices apply across every product covered here. Cool temperatures extend shelf life dramatically. Aim for consistent storage below 70 Fahrenheit where possible. Low humidity prevents moisture intrusion, which causes spoilage and clumping in dehydrated products. Airtight containers with oxygen absorbers eliminate the oxygen that supports oxidation, insect activity, and aerobic bacterial growth. Light exposure accelerates degradation in many products, so dark storage locations are preferable. Label everything with purchase dates and expected shelf life. Rotate your supply by using older items first and replacing them with fresh purchases. A food storage supply that is never accessed or rotated will ultimately be wasted. Make it a living part of your household food system, not a static emergency backup. Start wherever you are financially. You do not need to build a 30-year supply overnight. Begin with a 2-week supply, then extend to a month, then 3 months. Each step meaningfully increases your household's resilience without requiring a massive upfront investment. Prioritize the items that offer the best combination of nutritional value, shelf life, versatility, and cost-effectiveness. Emergency preparedness is ultimately an act of responsibility toward yourself, your family, and your community. The time, money, and thought invested in building a solid food supply is never wasted, even if you never face a major crisis. At the very least, you will have a pantry that can weather minor supply disruptions, unexpected financial strains, or simply the inconvenience of not making it to the grocery store for a few weeks. The goal is not to live in fear of what might happen. The goal is to build a foundation of security that allows you to face whatever does happen with confidence, capability, and the energy that comes from being genuinely well-nourished. Start today. Your future self will be grateful. If this guide helped you think differently about your emergency food storage, please take a moment to like this video, drop a comment below with your thoughts or questions, and subscribe so you never miss future preparedness content. See you in the next one.